House of the Dragon needed magical creatures to tell the story of Empress Matilda, but I can tell her story without a fake dragon, so does that make me better than that man? Yes, obviously, of course. Anyway, Empress Matilda was born February 7th, 1102. She was the daughter and second heir of Henry I of England, ruler of Normandy, granddaughter of William the Conqueror, and on her mother Matilda's side, she is the descendant of Scottish kings. She had one legitimate sibling, a brother named William, who was a little bit younger than her. And though Matilda was born first because of succession laws regarding women, William was automatically placed above Matilda in their father's line of succession. But having a girl in the line of succession at all was seen as crazy irresponsible and just batshit crazy. Since a king's most important job at the time is to be a military commander, and obviously that's a man's job. William and Matilda weren't King Henry's only children, though. This man had like 24 illegitimate children running amok. England with their dirty dick kings and the bastard league of children that they make, I swear to God. And they actually don't let any of the illegitimates in the line of succession at all. And Europe right now is looking a little janky. And England's doing pretty fine. I mean, the English king is married to a Scot, so that rivalry's kind of chillin'. And the Welsh were off doing their own thing. So when Matilda's born, it's relatively peaceful in England. As a child, Matilda grew up in between her father's court in England and the north of France with her billion bastard siblings and all of her royal little cousins. And you know that nursery staff was just exhausted with that slutbag king. A new baby just drops every year like an iPhone. I can't. And this is a time of great expansion in England. These children would have had a pretty decent education, probably pretty heavy in religion, but they would have had access to tutors that would be able to help them. But as a daughter, Matilda's true value to her father's kingdom is what could be arranged for her marriage. Marriages and trading princesses was like the preferred barter of medieval kings. And Matilda's freaky ass father had his eyes set on the most powerful man in Europe to be his son-in-law, the Holy Roman Emperor Henry V. Even though the emperor is like 20 years older than Matilda, and this is actually a really weird thing for a father to be considering for his first grader. All right, now pause, take a deep breath, we're about to go to crazy town. Since Matilda's father saw her first and foremost as a political pawn, he arranges for Matilda and her representatives to go to Germany and finalize the negotiations of marriage. Despite, again, this being a small child and a grown man we're talking about. And once the betrothal is set and all terms are agreed to, Matilda is left in this foreign country, West Germany, where she would spend the next 4 years learning the language and trying to adapt to her new culture, since one day down the line, she would be their empress. And in a few short years, the emperor decides we're actually not going to wait until she's 13 and of the accepted marrying age. We're going to push this wedding a little early. And the 11-year-old Matilda would marry her 30-year-old husband just a few weeks shy of her 12th birthday. And her time as a child bride / Holy Roman Empress would be quite eventful. Her weird husband's at war with the friggin' Pope, so the Pope refuses to officially crown her as the Empress, but nonetheless she would be very active in her husband's court, which is crazy if you think about it because she's like a fraction of the age of everyone else. But she was serving not only face, but also as the Empress to the people, despite Pope Paschal II refusing to give her the title. So Matilda's shitting on him, she's having her successes as the Empress in the Holy Roman Empire, but her life is about to get batshit crazy. In late November 1120, her little brother, the heir to England, William, and a handful of her illegitimate siblings get drunk as a skunk and board a ship, only to hit some rocks. And William and like 300 people die, which is a huge deal because if you remember, without William, Matilda is the heir to the English throne. Her father is pissed about this accident because this really fucks up his succession plan, and now he's got to argue with a bunch of rotten teeth nobility about succession, and whether or not his daughter Matilda is worthy of her birthright to become Queen of England. And it gets so messy that a civil war breaks out over who the king's true heir actually is. Since the king could name a new heir from outside of Matilda and his legitimate children, and a lot of people thought he would choose one of his nephews, since his kids and his sister Adela's kids grew up together, his nephews being Theobald and Stephen. It actually made a lot of sense for it to be Stephen, since Stephen had been given a few titles from the king already, and he was kind of known as one of the king's favorite family members. Stephen definitely thought it should be Stephen. And so we're at a crossroads, baby. What is a Matilda to do? We've got war. We've got secession crisis. We've got great escapes. And honestly, the betrayal goes crazy. If you'd like to know what tricks Matilda has up her sleeve, leave me a comment so I can use it for the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.